So, I look really stupid right now. I have a big old blanket on. I'm sitting in a scratched up generic gaming chair with big old headphones and a Yeti in front of me. And that was probably my worst cold open I've ever done. But I'm ranking the Final Fantasy raids. To be fair, to set some ground rules, these are just the MSQ raids, right? So these are the Crystal Tower, the Heavensward, Return to Evelise, and the Nier crossovers. Alright, let's just dive into it, right? Number 12 is Tower at Paradigm's Breach. I know, I just caused the dislike generator, but I hate this raid. And I'll tell you why. This is my least favorite raid. Because, have you ever had those nights where you can't sleep? So you pull out your phone and you pull out Google or YouTube or anything with a white screen. And it's like, there's that moment where your eyes gotta dilate and get used to the light again and it kind of burns. Imagine doing that with a fireworks display throughout a whole raid. This raid makes me feel physically uncomfortable. It just burns my eyes. And I'm not talking like in a figuratively way. I'm talking in like a literal way. Like literally, I hate this raid. It just hurts. It physically hurts. There's a lot of good mechanics too, but I just hate doing it. Physically uncomfortable, and that's why it's number 12. Number 11 has to be the Void Ark. There have been when I was doing the rankings, I had to queue up for the raids because I'd have to do all 12 of them anyways. And the Void Ark was the hardest one to get into. I feel like nobody likes this raid. I can't even recall any of the bosses. I remember it's like the high-end Terra look, like everything's purple and kind of contaminated. I remember something about a corrupted tree, but other than that, I just don't remember anything. Like Paradigm's Breach, as much as I hated that raid, at least I remember something from it. But it doesn't hurt to look at, so that's why it's 11. Number 10 is Labyrinth of the Ancients. And it's not a bad raid, it's just under average, I feel like. Final Fantasy was new at the time and they were still trying to get its footing. And you could feel the growing pain. They didn't exactly know what they wanted their raids to feel like yet. And that's why it's number 10, just because it's of how forgettable it is. But even then, it's still better than the Void Ark. And no, that's the last time I say that. Because if I just say it's better than this one, that's why it's there. This video is going to get very repetitive very quickly. Number 9, I actually kind of like, but it's also kind of frustrating. And when I had to think of a spot to put it, it fell into the number 9 slot, and it's Dune Scythe. I can't even pronounce it. But I kind of like how it hits you with a tough boss, like right off the bat. Like there's no trash, there's no get there, it's just the boss. It opens with a boss on a ship. And I think that's kind of cool. But it quickly becomes Kingdom Hearts. I feel like this was going to be like a Kingdom Hearts raid, but they couldn't get the rights from Disney because it is Square Enix. So I feel like they were building like a Kingdom Hearts raid and then Disney said no. So they just used the assets and made something else. So Kingdom Hearts the Raid. It goes on number 9. Number 8. As much as I love this raid, I could only put it at number 8. It's City of Rabanastre. I love this raid. It opens with a genie sprite boss fight, and then you go into the actual raid, and it's like an underwater temple full of waterfalls and water slides, and I love that set piece so much. It reminds me of the 360 era of Lara Croft, like the Tomb Raider Legends and the Tomb Raider Underworld. And I love that feeling of a hidden city that no one's known about for years and decades and centuries and so on and so forth. Okay. So, the only reason why this raid is so high up, like it's the best of the bottom half, is because of Osmos. Number 7 is Weeping City of Mach. And Osmos is such an interesting encounter that I have to put it at number 7. But I can't put it anywhere in the top half. There's a trend that Final Fantasy raids love to do, and it's like put the big finale boss as the second to last encounter instead of the encounter. I feel like that raid should have ended on Osmos, because I can't for the life of me remember who was after Osmos. And this isn't the only raid that does it too. Another raid does that too. And yes, I am in rapid fire mode, because if I took like 7 or 8 minutes for every raid, this video would easily be over an hour long. And something my channel struggles with is viewer retention. So I feel like if I do quick little bullets, it'll help hold your attention longer instead of rambling about a raid and losing your attention. So if I just keep the list going, I hope that helps. Something else that would also help if you would like to like and subscribe. That would also help the channel out a bit too. But I know what you're here for. So let's get on to number 6. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. Number 6. Just because it sets up Shadowbringer so well, is Cypress Tower. It's so, like, the raid itself is just a climb to the top. It's just a staircase with boss fights. The raid itself is just a raid. But because this one raid sets up an entire expansion, I have to put it in the bottom half. It's like Destiny, where raids are just kind of throwaway once a year things. They're usually not too connected to the story. But the fact that Cypress Tower is almost like a prologue to Shadowbringers just blows my mind. And it's just another little amazing piece of the Final Fantasy storytelling that I love so much. And just because of that, I have to put it in number 6. And that's why it gets like the bottom spot of the top half. Puppet's Bunker. Puppet's Bunker is number 5. And if you've never played Nier, you're gonna watch that final boss and be like, what the crap? And maybe be a little grossed out at that final boss. But I actually really like this raid. I feel like the mechanics are a lot of fun. I love the setting. It's just a really fun raid. I never get tired of it. I do Puppet's Bunker at least once a week. It's like my always my go-to raid. Personally, it might be my favorite. It might be. I try to be as unbiased in this countdown as I could. But I really love Puppet's Bunker. Number 4 is the Auburn Monastery. So, 1, Sniper Gundam. That's automatically super high marks. 2, this is the hardest hitting raid, I feel like, out of the 12 of them. If you're not ready for this one, like, you're gonna get smacked. Just encounter after encounter after encounter. This is the most mechanic heavy raid I've done. And I've done Last Wish. Like, this is more mechanic heavier than Last Wish, I think. But, I know it's a video for a different time, but you really can't compare Destiny raids to MMO raids because they are entirely different. But yeah, this raid will hit you like a brick. And I kind of like it about that. Who the hell puts math in a raid? Honestly, though, as much as I hate it, it's such a interesting encounter. Also, the last boss with the magnetic mechanics, too. And just because those interesting mechanics, it's also a cool set piece, too. I feel like the, Stormblood. The Stormblood expansions really had some really good raids in there. I love the idea of climbing a steampunk gear tower up to the top of a lighthouse. I know I'm not good with prime numbers because I usually suck. Prime number and batteries, though. Like, great mechanic idea. That's why it's number 3. The art of a crossover. Usually, when you see a crossover, it's just a little throwaway thing for a character, or it's SAO in Tails, so it's always SAO. But, when you do the Copy Factory, you feel the love that the developers have for each other's game. The music plays. I'll be honest, this raid is why I started to play Nier. The raid is masterfully done. It does do that thing where the big boss, like the best boss, is not the finale boss, and that still bugs me. But man, what a great raid. And it's so good of a raid that it made me go play another game. I still need to finish Nier, to be fair. But what else can I say? So if you're keeping track, you know what number 1 is. And yes, it's World of Darkness. And I'm putting my hand up as if you could see me, stopping you from disliking the video. And before you post your angry comments, hear me out. Because this raid, I feel like this is the raid that Final Fantasy, Square Enix, and Yoshi P said, "We're here. We are a legit MMO, and we can offer you raids like you've never seen before." I absolutely love the Cerberus boss fight. I love the Rainbow Road mechanics. Like, as you cross that big bridge, there's the moon. You feel the stakes because it is connected to the story. And I feel like it set the benchmark for the rest of the raids. And it's kind of like what Vault of Glass is to Destiny, where it's just like, we're here and we will continue to put high-end raids into our game. We are MMO. And we're one of the bests. Okay, well, I'm not going to BS anymore. That was my ranking. It was very rapid fire. Like I said earlier. There we go. Needed to pull off a good snap. I don't really know how to end it. But, again, if you liked it, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Maybe a nice one. But, rank your rates down below. If you made it this far in the video, then sincerely thank you. Your time is very important. And I just wasted about 16 minutes of it. Maybe 17. In between 15 and 17. And I've been talking for the past hour and a half. And I gotta edit for the next 3. Maybe 2. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. It really does mean the world to me. And, Artifact out. See you on the next project.